boozy, yes. So anyway, I've been teaching math, and I'm not a math teacher, but I'm doing a pretty damn good job.
That's good. Figured you would.
I know, I like it. I like these kids. They've got personality. I think I'm a junior high teacher. So
Junior
I
high
think,
teacher.
yeah, I think
Sure.
that's my.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm positive. I like that group. Teenagers kind of get on my nerves, and little kids, you know how I feel about little kids. So I can't handle it. So how's work been down in South Carolina?
Busy. That's good.
Tell them about your like 15-hour days.
Yeah, I worked 15 hours on last Tuesday. No, last Tuesday, last Wednesday. And then I did it again. So, yeah, last Wednesday and Monday.
Sorry for the expletives.
Awesome.
I do not
You're
use
tired.
those.
Tired? I can't wait. What?
I'm tired now.
You're tired now? Well, wait till I get down there. I'm so excited. Hopefully at the beginning of May, because you know I don't care. I'm gonna surf, and if it's cold, I'm still trying to surf. So.
Question from the chat room.
Oh, we have a question from the chat room.
Elliot, what the fuck do you do?
Let's see, well, right now we're finishing the construction up on a grocery store that's all natural and organic food. No pesticides, no GMOs and shit like that. I mean, everything that we recycle, like, most of here we use to recycle, like, the refrigeration cases and whatnot.
It sounds like such a professional job for you.
Sounds really boring.
I love it.
My actual job title is I run the logistics in the back. I'm the logistics manager.
Oh my god, that's so awesome! Logistics manager! Woot! That sounds so awesome.
Kinda.
Well, listen, we have an exciting show tonight because I am scared of aliens. So, we have, I am terrified, and we have our friend Neal Parks, who we had on when we were first starting out as the historians, so we had a good time with
Way
him.
back.
Yeah, way back in the day. And we wanted to bring him on. He is talking about some crazy stuff. He's talking about Roswell. He's talking about implants, not breast implants, alien implants. He's talking about crop circles, stuff that scares me. I probably won't be able to sleep tonight. So, I know, I'm excited. So, after this break, we are going to have Neal Parks in the house.
This is the commercial break. So far we are 4 minutes and 21 seconds into the show, and I'm about to receive a call via Skype and give my expertise, I suppose. Good evening.
Hi!
Who was that just squealed? Was that Elliot?
No, that was definitely Shannon. That was not me.
How are you two knuckleheads? I've missed you.
I missed you
What?
guys. I'm
Guys.
Reaper.
There's two of me.
Turn off the chat room. Turn off the speaker on the video box. Turn it down.
Which one of us are you talking to?
You.
Me?
You, Neal.
Really?
You. That's better, right?
Is that better?
Yes. Hi, Neal. I'm Diana, producer of the show, the one that dropped the F-bomb.
Oh, that's fine. This is the last time I was on the show with Shannon and Elliot. Lucas was sitting on my lap, and that was about 9 o'clock. I let him stay up. It was special one night for him. But he's in bed now, so don't worry about it.
Okay. It's late night, so we can slip once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Even David
I
Letterman
have
does
made
it.
up on this show.
My mom doesn't like the F-bomb.
Is she listening?
I don't know. She does every once in a while. She'll call me though when I drop the F-bomb. She's like, "You need to watch your meal."
Oh, my working. Nice.
My mom doesn't like the F-bomb, the B-bomb, the D-bomb, the H-bomb.
Yeah, my mom will kill. So what do you want, Neal? What are we talking about first? Like, what do you want to talk about?
We are talking about alien breasts.
Alien breasts?
Mm-hmm.
We're going
We're talking about the
You were wanting to talk about the timeline of alien abduction.
And
Of course,
your
I've got a
life.
lot of ground to cover.
And welcome back to the Historian. It's Shannon Lusk and
Neal. Oh, you're him, not me. I'm sorry.
and Neal Parks, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna jump the
Say
gun
hi,
on that
Neal.
one. Hello, how is everyone tonight? No response. Kind of a dead crowd.
What?
Is this thing on?
Yeah, this thing's on. So listen, as soon as aliens came up, as soon as, like, I can't even talk because I'm like high on NyQuil. But,
Yeah, NyQuil.
Elliot and I, we were excited because we wanted to talk about kind of like the timeline of aliens, the alien abduction and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the first name that popped into our mind was Neal Parks.
So you're suspecting that I have been abducted? Is that what you're insinuating?
Have you? Some of your pictures seem to tell me yes.
A lot of people think that I plead the fifth, but I do investigate alien abductions, UFO sightings, crop formations, close encounters of the third kind, and of course that along with cryptozoology and ghost hunting and mushroom hunting from time to time, edible mushrooms.
Like the kind that gets you crazy, or just the kind that are tasty?
The kind that are tasty, not the kind that make you see like peyote wolves in the woods or anything.
And aliens and shit. So listen, okay? So
My apologies,
was
I have my own
interested-
soundtrack.
You do?
Yes. When I enter a room, the X-Files theme starts out.
Okay, so you wanted to know, what was this you were talking about in the Bible? The aliens in the Bible. You sent me this thing talking about, you want to talk about aliens in the Bible. I find this interesting, and go.
With that, you have abductions throughout history. The ascension of Elijah, the ascension of Christ, post-resurrection. Throughout history, UFOs are depicted and painted within Leonardo da Vinci's artwork. Golden B-52 bombers discovered in Aztec tombs in South American jungles. These relics were over 3,500 years old. And when you look at the trinkets, they look exactly like B-52 bombers post-World War II. And 3,500 years ago, we had not perfected flight, let alone the wheel. So for these Aztecs to create this design, this intricate golden trinket, leads me to believe that there was some sort of a time paradox that enabled the B-52 bomber to perhaps fly in a little too close to the Bermuda Triangle and inadvertently reappear before the Aztecs They saw it, thought it was a god, and paid homage to it and created trinkets to resemble what they had seen. And the very same could apply to what Leonardo da Vinci was designing and what he had painted in his artwork as well.
I think that's fascinating. I really do. It scares the hell out of me, though. What do you think? Are you scared, Elliot? You're not scared of aliens. Like, you don't think that it's creepy that things creep into your room at night and A, they take you to a spaceship and probe you, or B, they start sticking stuff inside you, or C, they start impregnating you and sending you back to your bedroom.
Alien impregnation.
Actually, this sounds like a night out for somebody, like somebody with a crazy life. It does, doesn't it? So, Neal, with this whole, kind of like historic thing of aliens, as far as, it's stemming back to the Bible and us seeing it in popular forms of art and literature throughout, that brings us, what do you think is, like, one of the biggest, like, known popular culture sightings of aliens?
The most popular, of course, in our American timeline would be the UFO crash in 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico. Other parts of the United States, in Pennsylvania in the 1980s, I believe it was, there was a UFO crash that occurred in a wooded region in Pennsylvania that hundreds of people in this community had witnessed. And of course, the same things occurred in Roswell in 1947. Men in black visiting people, military surveillance all over the area, people being threatened and sequestered. You could look at something like the Mothman incident of the 1960s in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, before the Silver Dollar Bridge collapsed. The same instances, UFO sightings, strange lights in the sky, strange cryptozoological creatures being sighted, and men in black once again intervening.
Now, have you read that book by John Keel?
The Mothman Prophecies?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Now, I know that, you know how much I love books, Elliot, right? Okay. I always talk about how much I love books. And I found it interesting in that book that it did center the book more around this whole UFO and alien theory and, like, worldly, like, other creatures instead of mostly on the Mothman, like the movie portrayed. Neal?
Hello, I'm sorry, you broke up at that last bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said I found it interesting in the book that John was centering a lot on UFOs, men in black, and like the creatures you were talking about,
Yes.
more so than the actual whole Mothman thing like they did in the movie.
Right, the movie was very much Hollywood. I mean, it starred Richard Gere from Pretty Woman, for God's sakes. You can't really expect paranormal authenticity with a name like Richard Gere tied to it. But the most fascinating part of that film would have to be when the anonymous voice was on the phone and basically telling him that he had chapstick in his pocket. I mean, that was one of those Twilight Zone moments that really made the movie work for that split second. Other than that, the whole thing with Deborah Messing in the film as his wife, having a brain tumor or whatever, and continually seeing the red eyes come on her, even away from Point Pleasant, it did not at all tie to the actual Mothman Prophecy book that the movie was based on, so I was greatly disappointed with it. I still own the movie because of my connection to Point Pleasant and the amount of time I've spent there.
Now talk about that a little bit. I know that you lecture down there during their different festivals, the Mothman festival that they have and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And do you talk mostly about aliens?
With that, the first time I was lecturing during the Mothman festival, I was talking more about ghost sightings, ghost encounters, the haunted Low Hotel, which we stayed in, and I spoke about the igloos that were there around the TNT Munitions Depot near the swamplands where the Mothman sightings started. And
now, wait, hold on. Tell us about these igloos.
The igloos are these strange concrete domes that are just set up in sporadic spots throughout the swamplands, and that's where they used to store munitions and TNT during World War One. And when World War One ended, so did the projects in those igloos, and they just basically sealed them off. You used to be able to go in tours, in tour groups, to go to these igloos to check them out. These igloos have been featured on Paranormal State. They've been featured on different documentaries like Monster Quest. Chip Coffey has been through them, and he has conducted readings. And as of 2010, I believe it was, spring 2010, there was a massive explosion. Apparently, one of the munitions depots was still remotely active, and it caused a huge explosion. It blew the dome, and it created a huge crater. And needless to say, the community of Point Pleasant was rather concerned about letting people tour through there for very much longer, so they shut it down. And I don't know if they've reopened the tours or not, but that was what happened about 2 years ago in Point Pleasant.
That is really cool. I never knew that going down there. You like that, don't you, Ellie? You're all excited. Road trip for the historian.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was down there, I was just kind of interested to go to the place where, the Mothman sightings happened and everything, but I did not know all the extra stuff that was involved in that.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Certainly a lot more to it.
You had talked about, your interest in aliens, UFOs. A lot of people think, crop circles are people, pulling pranks or making art. Can you actually tell us, the listeners, especially myself, because I'm not too familiar with them, what an actual crop circle is, and, are they related to alien activity?
I always refer to them as crop formations because the circle itself, any idiot can take a 2x4 and press out a circle that's at least 20 feet in diameter. The circle itself that they make with a 2x4 is not necessarily 360 degrees in angle, so it's not a perfect circumference. However, these crop formations that pop up, rarely pop up, are such a magnificent and advanced geometric pattern that it's nothing that we ourselves could do in a single night with four-wheelers, 2x4s, or even the assistance from a helicopter flying overhead telling us where to position whatever we would need to position to make such an intricate design. Now, with a formation, you will always find, if it's authentic, the crop itself is swollen and slumped over because it's swollen due to the fact that it was heated from some unknown source. Heated to the point of and being engulfed and rupturing like a hot dog in a microwave and just falling over. Not crunched, not broken, not pushed over, but just slumped over. And it's usually wrapped around in a circular formation, and then it goes out from the center and becomes something much more larger and magnificent. 9 times out of 10, it's a geometric pattern. And there is a device that has been created, and there's a researcher in Ireland that came up with this, where you can take these geometric patterns, put them through a machine, and it breaks them down by decibels, breaks them down fractions, breaks them down by megapixels, and it can configure musical notes in these patterns. It can bring up mathematical equations that far exceed our level of understanding within quantum physics. Different languages, different scriptures from different religious texts, like the Bible, the Quran, the Apocrypha. It's completely intricate in its design. It's something that's out of our realm of understanding.
I'm sorry, I'm like dying, but I'm listening and dying at the same time. I find all of that interesting, and I have to commend you because you are very well versed on this type of thing, and you do actually talk about some interesting things that a lot of people might not know so in depth, and I think it's really great. So
I had no idea about the crop circle thing. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
I know you learned something, didn't you, Elliot?
Yeah, I did.
Well, listen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have more alien abduction and alien talk with Neal Parks.
Sounds great.
We are the best kept secret in the universe. Our mission is to monitor it.
What was that?
Shannon, I'm going to have an ad in 6 minutes and 39 seconds. I just wanted to let you know.
Wow.
Okay, is that the bus dog?
I hope not. Sometimes they're really low. Sometimes it'll let me click off the sound, and sometimes it don't.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We will see.
We'll laugh. I'll just be like, well, it was Diana this time.
I like this sound.
We're coming in and play.
Really?
Really?
It goes with our show, babes. It goes with our show.
I like it.
Yes?
We played this song at my wedding reception. Shannon. 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 Can you hear me? How was it so far?
I'm going to play a promo next, and then we'll go back in.
Okay.
This is a new promo. Shannon, you're going to laugh at the new promo. You're going to laugh your ass off, because you can see it.
Oh, yes, I will. I shall.
Sorry. Fair Rock TV, what are we going to do? Bring this program to you. Well, there's no river that we won't cross. There's no desert that we won't conquer. There's no desert that we won't conquer. We're camped out anywhere. I'll tell you what, in fact, there's nowhere. We won't go. That's no new. To bring you attention. Watch PairRockTV.com. That's PairRockTV.com.
And now,
And welcome back to the Historians. I'm Tina Buzz. Welcome back to the Historians.
somebody has their show on.
It's Elliot.
Not guilty. I
It's not me. Not me. Woo.
It's not me.
It was me. I shut it off rather quickly.
Oh, it's nobody. It's nobody.
Yeah, when I heard the Men in Black song, I had to watch the video.
Hey, Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Neal, you can watch the show and hear it through your call with us.
Through Skype?
Yeah, you'll hear everything, and you can still watch it, but just keep your volume all the way off. You'll still hear it. There'll be like a 4-second delay, but you can still see everything.
These fandangled devices? Okay.
Yeah, and see, now everybody gets behind the scenes action of what goes on when we're on break. Elliot's rapping in the background.
I was singing the girl part. I wasn't rapping.
The girl part, that's special for you, isn't it?
You say you have girl parts?
So we're back with Neal Parks. We're talking about alien abduction. And Neal, give us the honeypot here. Tell us about what you know about alien abduction.
The honeypot referring to alien abduction, or the honeypot referring to my third book being picked up by a mainstream publisher?
We'll get to that momentarily.
Shameless
I need
promotion.
now.
Shameless promotion.
Shameless promotion.
Alien abduction. Of course, with that, as I mentioned in history, you've got the ascension of Elijah, the ascension of Christ, post-resurrection, UFOs popping up in Renaissance artwork. And of course, there's common types of alien species, that being the humanoids, which are the common blue-eyed, blonde-haired, Aryan race-looking individuals. And you've got the typical grays with the larger heads and the big black eyes and the tiny slit mouths, slanted. And you've got the reptilian hybrids, which could also be one of two different variations of the species. You've got shapeshifters, or you have just the straight, not to say that they would be not straight, reptilian hybrid. And then you've got the cross species, which would be... What was that?
That would be a commercial.
Was that supposed to happen?
That was alien.
And then you've got the cross species, of course, which is the combination of human genetic DNA spliced with the typical humanoid and or gray type alien. There's more UFO sightings in southeastern Florida, eastern Mexico, the Caribbean, and South America than any other location in the world. And of course, commonplace with alien abduction, you've got implants that show up in some people. You have missing time issues with repressed memories that normally don't come out until you encounter, or the person who is having repressed memories encounters a hypnotist, which normally therapy in itself will enable you to unlock those suppressed memories if they are indeed there. You want to be careful with some hypnotists because they'll more or less suggest, they'll be more of a suggestive type memory than they would be repressed. So I often refer people when they come to me, and people have come to me with that, stating that they believe that they may have encountered a UFO, may have been abducted, may in fact be pregnant with an alien embryo, to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist, talk to them, talk about dreams you've had, talk about the alleged implants you've had, where you were at the time of the implant, what you were doing prior to losing your time, and where you ended up after the fact. I mean, we've all had the issues of what's known as just standard driving amnesia, where you drive to a location you drive to all the time. You get in your vehicle, you reach a certain point, and then boom, you're at your destination. And you're like, well, what happened for the last 20 minutes? How'd I get here? Everyone has that happen to them. So you don't want to confuse that with alien abduction, of course.
That's creepy. When I like wanted to throw up when you said something about being impregnated, because
Yeah, what about alien impregnation? Like,
how does that work? Is that what you're saying?
like humans, are there like half-breed alien children running around?
Supposedly, yes. I've not encountered any myself, nor do I know if they make any kind of a repellent to deter them from trying to suck out your brains or whatever. But it could be like that Roddy Piper movie that was out in the 80s called, I believe it was called They. Wasn't it called They? Where you wore the sunglasses and you would see the aliens for what they truly were.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah. We need devices like that.
Now, speaking of movies, we had a question from the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that at Pararock we have a lot of different we have a lot of different, views about, the paranormal field and how it gets affected by certain things. And Josh, from our chat room, Paranormal Josh, brought up the question, does, the types of movies and sensationalism in Hollywood affect the field of, UFO and alien investigation negatively or positively?
It's a catch-22 for sure. Some of the movies create such a feeling of sensationalism that it enables our conventions and our festivals to exist because it creates a general public interest. Other movies tend to miss the beat, and they often make us look like completely irrational nut jobs who run around with a camcorder like on Paranormal Activity and taunt and provoke demons. That's not something that I would often recommend that you do, of course, if you don't want something to latch on to you and then come home and possess your children's toys. I often refer to avoiding that. Like the last time I was on your show, you mentioned to me that someone had asked if the Los Angeles, the movie about Los Angeles, where the alien...
Oh, LA, Battle LA.
Battle Los Angeles, if it in fact occurred as a result of a real event. I think that the chances with cowboys and aliens would be more accurate than the Battle Los Angeles movie, for sure. Have you seen Cowboys and Aliens?
Oh, it's badass.
Oh, I love that movie. It's my favorite movie.
It's exquisite. Cowboys and Aliens really got it right. They totally got it right. You look at movies like Signs from M. Night Shyamalan. This movie, it was great for the most part until you thought about it. Consider a highly advanced alien race coming all the way to a planet that is 70-something% water, and that is their primary weakness. You'd think when they were approaching the planet and see all the water, they'd turn around and leave, but no. They decide to set up camp. What about when it rains? That's probably going to affect them as well.
Right, and they're supposed to be more intelligent than we are, so I totally get that now. Like, I love that movie, the way that it's constructed, but you're right, it does make sense. Like, why would you go to a planet made of water?
And then you look at the movie War of the Worlds. What destroyed that alien race? The common cold, basically, a flu. You'd think they would have got their flu shots before coming here. I mean, we wiped out the original inhabitants of this land by giving them blankets with scarlet fever and smallpox on it. So something like that should have popped up on their Google before they came here.
And what were you saying, Elliot?
Sorry,
I
Elliot.
thought War was badass. The book was badass. The movie was badass. So.
Yeah, it is. And
That's a good film.
In a form, like, it makes you think in form of popular culture, the whole what-if theory.
Mm-hmm.
And the sensationalism about the radio broadcast especially, interested a lot of people, how people actually thought aliens were invading the world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you go back and look at certain things about how, how we have to, in our culture, add to the story to make it entertainment, in order for us to enjoy it, it's kind of sad in a lot of respects because, it takes away from the true events that are happening.
Right.
So, but, that was a great question, and I'm glad you added that. Now, I know you were talking, you mentioned something to me about Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What did you want to say about that film?
That movie actually got it right. That was a complete and total Steven Spielberg project, which I look at that as the Schindler's List of alien encounter movies, along with E.T. E.T. got it right, too. But Close Encounters of the Third Kind, he kept getting basically like psychic and more or less connections of telekinesis with these alien beings, and he kept creating sculptures of this mountain out of mashed potatoes. And his family thought that he was going nuts, but he had a connection through telekinesis with these alien beings, and they wanted him there for a purpose. He was to serve a greater purpose. And they revealed themselves to him and to a select few, even though the entire scientific team and the military were standing around watching it too. But it was a very romantic film the way it was done. Now, as far as real Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when you're encountering what goes beyond the UFO, that is when it lands and something comes out of it and says, can I use your phone, or do you have any water? That's definitely one of those cases that is rarely discussed, rarely encountered, or rarely reputable when discussed.
like aliens come to your house and ask to use the phone?
Yeah, something like that. Nine times out of
Oh my
10.
God.
9 times out of 10 people see UFOs. 9 times out of 10 people see a strange light in the sky, something they cannot identify. But very, very few cases involve actual contact where you have a one-on-one with these beings. And if there are cases like that, people are not coming forward anymore. Now in the 60s and 70s, they had all these documentaries floating around, narrated by like Wilford Brimley. And he was all like, I'm the next Beyond Discovery, blah, blah, blah. The diabetes test and supply guys. They always do these documentaries back then, and it seemed apropos, but now it's like rarely discussed and rarely taken seriously.
That's cool. I'm afraid to answer my door. You knew I was going to be paranoid about this, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Let's say some kid's going to come up and try to borrow a pencil tomorrow, and I'm going to, in my mind, think about his intentions. I've never seen this kid. Is he an alien? So, but, alien implants. I was showing a picture to the chat room of these little alien implants. Now, what is the theory about alien implants?
Well, with alien implants, a lot of people believe that they're trackers, kind of the way that we track livestock or wild animals like deer and gazelle, basically to monitor their habitat, monitor their mating process, monitor their aggression, their level of competency, whether or not they can withstand certain conditions. A lot of people, me being one of them, think that they are tracking certain people to test disease, to test the effect of cancer, to test the effect of like a pandemic, or whether or not they can run uphill without being short of breath, monitoring the human condition basically to better understand how to coexist with us or our weaknesses so it'll be easier for them to come in and take us over without resistance from us. V is a prime example of that. The reboot of V was on a couple of years ago, and they did that. They basically created a trust factor between the humans and themselves, and their intent the entire time was to enslave and eat us. But they kept painting this elaborate picture that they were here to help us. They were here to make us well. They were here to teach us. They were here to restore a sense of humanity within ourselves, and had no intention of taking over, but they of course did in the end.
Slides on radio show. Did that, yeah.
What?
There's slides on radio show that showed that exact thing where these aliens came to planet and they were all nice and they wanted to take us away to this paradise, but they were actually doing was eating these people. Like they only eat them.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's like the Body Snatchers movie too.
Yeah.
Do you think that really happened?
Is this off the record?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you can take me too seriously, but I'm just thinking, I'm sweaty right now because I'm thinking about, I have these, 4 windows in my bedroom, and I just keep looking at them there's things looking in at me and ready to implant me and everything else. Impregnate, implant, whatever.
I would certainly hope that that's not the case, that they're not doing that, that there's not some high alien race out there doing that to us. It's fun to write about in science fiction, of course, and since I am a published author, it gives me a lot of great ideas. But I really hope and pray that that's not happening right now. Now, when the Antichrist reveals himself, maybe it will, but that's probably a long time from now.
Yes, I imagine it is. I don't buy into the whole world ending here in 8 months or something.
Yeah,
6 months.
That's nonsense.
That is so stupid. That's a different show, right, Al? Yeah, we're probably gonna broadcast that day. Spend the last day on Earth with us.
That was such a horrible movie too.
I didn't watch it. I refused. I thought it was blasphemy, so I refused to watch it.
It's a great film to show on the short bus. It scared the crap out of those kids. That was politically incorrect, and I'm not sorry.
Yeah, Yes, it was floating. Correct. You're lucky you're not in the choking distance. So listen, before we go to break, we're going to talk a little bit about, what you do. Obviously, our audience can tell that you're very well versed in, aliens, UFOs, but you do a lot of paranormal researching, especially in the area of Southern Ohio from where you're from. So talk a little bit about, what you write about as an author, and also the exciting fact that you did get picked up by a publishing company for your third book.
Mm-hmm. Want me to talk about that now or after the break?
You can talk about it partly now and then a little bit when we come back after the break.
Well, right now my first two books have sold big international. I'm now selling in Japan, Australia, the United Kingdom, and various other locations around the world. Of course, my strong suit is here in the United States, predominantly the Midwest and the tri-state region, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, West Virginia. I'm all over those states in a regular convention circuit, and sometimes with some of the carny freaks. The carny freaks love me. And my third book has just been picked up by Synergy Books out of Tennessee. And the name of the book is Haunted Holidays, Tales of Inspiration, Terror, and Reflection. And it covers the holidays of Halloween to New Year's Eve. So there's a strong spiritual aspect to it, tying in the season, tying in remembrance, reflection, and of course a little bit of terror, because that's good when you're dealing with haunted holidays.
You know what? I am totally excited about that book. Wouldn't that be interesting, Elliot? Because we like that kind of stuff when we do shows with the historian.
Yeah, it would.
We would like an autographed copy once you get that published. We would appreciate that.
I can do that for you.
That would be awesome. Well, listen, we're gonna take a short break and we'll come back. We're gonna talk a little bit more about what you do.
That sounds like fun.
Shannon, you picked some freaky music.
Very eclectic.
You should have played
I have
Hand
an
Jive
echo.
from Greece.
What?
Shane, you got an echo.
I know, I always have a fucking echo. It pisses me off.
Well, didn't happen earlier.
I don't know, it's aliens.
It's aliens.
Now you have an echo.
I know.
We have echoes.
Echo.
Okay, now try. No.
Now you have an echo.
Okay. Shannon, check your Skype audio settings. And Neal, too.
What do I go under?
So tools to options,
Okay.
audio settings,
Okay.
and check your volume and see if it's clicked on automatically adjust. Unclick that there and just turn it to like mid-level.
How's that?
A little bit better. What about Neal?
Neal. Is Neal even there?
Let me check.
Yeah, I'm
It
here.
shows he's there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Neal.
Yes.
Can you check your audio settings on your Skype?
What's going on with it?
Go tools to options to audio settings, and if yours is like just like halfway mark is okay.
Audio settings. Yeah, I'm a little bit beyond the halfway mark.
Yeah, go down to the halfway mark. Try that.
Am I overpowering?
Let's see, how's that sound?
Is that better?
We're still getting echoes.
All right, am I giving you an echo?
Echoing?
How's that?
Is that better?
Still echo.
Yeah.
How about now?
No.
Is it better now?
You're fine, Neil. You don't have an echo.
Oh, I know I'm
Just me
fine,
and
but
Diana.
Yeah, it's me and her.
well then never mind.
Talk, Elliot.
Hello.
Yes, you have an echo too.
All right. Shit. How long do we have on this song?
I don't know. It's pretty much all the way through.
Okay. I don't know what's changed. Nobody has their volume up in their chat room, do they?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Hello. Echo's on.
Hello?
Hello?
It's not too bad now.
No.
Are we almost back?
Almost. I'm going to try to adjust you while you guys are talking.
Okay.
Shannon, did you hear that Paravisions is calling it quits?
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Lee told me that he just is sick of the drama and he wants to focus more on efforts that he and Patty want to focus on. And
Shannon and Neal.
Oh, and welcome back to the Historian. I'm Shannon Lusk, and I'm always
I'm
reverbing. If we have reverb, we're just getting it technically fixed.
yeah,
And we're going to let Neal talk about his group, PPRI, and what he does as a paranormal researcher.
PPRI, that stands for Parks Paranormal Research and Investigation. The team itself was founded in 2007, but it's based solely on the efforts and research I've been doing since 1986. And I've self-published 2 books. The first one was titled Paranormal Chronicles, Tales of Humor, Horror, and the Absolutely Strange. And the second book is titled Haunted Chillicothe. It's all about Chillicothe, Ohio. The paranormal activity, haunted locations, folklore, mythology that deals within that occurs within the community itself. Chillicothe, Ohio is the city so nice they made it the capital twice, of course. I mentioned earlier my first 2 books have sold international. I just started a new interior painting business, which is completely off the topic. We're talking tonight about alien abductions, the topic of timeline of alien abductions. We went over Men in Black earlier, implants, missing time. You wanted me to talk more about what I do in relationship to that away from the alien phenomenon. You wanted me to talk about, say, ghost hunting or my research in cryptozoology.
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Okay. Elliot, did you say yes?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, all I heard was But with that, I've researched Point Pleasant, West Virginia, up and down. I've been as far as New York City to Ground Zero, the Empire State Building, where over 38 suicides have taken place. I've been to different parts of the United States. We went as far as Jamaica and the Cayman Islands recently. No luck there. I was looking for USOs, which is underwater submerged object. Normally it's a UFO that travels underwater. A lot of fishermen see these around the Caribbean, around some of the blue holes. We've been to Tennessee and investigating Bigfoot sightings. Michigan investigating the Dogman sightings. which occur quite often in Wisconsin. I've investigated crop formations throughout Ohio and Kentucky and West Virginia, and cattle mutilations in Kentucky. That's just a little bit of what I do.
That's cool. I think that you're really well-rounded. So, I'm sorry if you're hearing an echo.
I'm not. You sound fine.
Yeah, I'm glad that I sound fine to you. I can just keep hearing myself talking in my head like I'm crazy. But Neal, we want to thank you for joining our show tonight. It was great. You're very well versed in our topic this evening on alien abduction, and it's always a pleasure.
Well, I'm glad that you had me back. I enjoy your show.
And Elliot, you want to say something to Neal?
You taught me a lot about aliens, man.
I just talk a lot. I bet. You're probably thinking you talk way too much, man.
No, we you do a good job.
All right.
So,
well, be
next
sure.
week.
Be sure to look me up online. I'm on Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube. I canceled my Twitter account because it sucks, but you can find us on www.parks-paranormal.8m.com. That's number 8, lowercase m.com. And you can look me up on Facebook. We have Parks Paranormal page on that. There's Neal Parks Paranormal Professional, and of course my personal page, and hopefully I'll see you on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Well, next week, Elliot. Help us to co-host. For those of you who don't know, it should be a good time. I'm excited about that. I don't know too much about the house, so I'll be interested to find out some good information. Yeah, you may have internet, so we may be able to get you in the chat room again, right? And I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot tonight that I had no idea about. I know, he just comes out of left field with the info. He is. He's a good guy. So, again, check out Neal Parks. Definitely some of his books. Haunted Chillicothe, Chronicles of the Paranormal Chronicles, and his new book that'll be coming out soon about holidays. And you can check Neal Parks on Facebook, and also Parks Paranormal on Facebook. And I also posted the website, and so did he, within the chat room. So check it out, everybody, because I bet you that you'll learn a lot from this guy. So, agreed. Tonight, realize yes, she is. We the dark.